Hey everybody, welcome to the Sugar Chronicles, episode 11, the challenge part 2. So, picking up where I left off, part 1 of this challenge, I had just started a 30-day cleanse of mandatory nature. Just to recap quickly, I had developed a severe rash and itch on my body, and it resulted in the family doctor diagnosing it as urticaria, chronic hives, and the nutritionist putting me on a candida cleanse for 30 days, complete with supplements, and I was also taking a prescription strength antihistamine for 30 days. So I came out of that 30 days actually last Sunday, and I waited to record this podcast so I could give myself a week to be off everything and figure it all out. So the update as of today, by the way, we are a week and 2 days away from Christmas. So it's been a tough time of year to be sans sugar, sans everything essentially. No flours, no grains, no anything. Let me tell you that 30 days was probably the toughest I have ever gone through, but probably also one of the best things I've ever gone through. So the 30 days, essentially being a candida cleanse, no sugars, no flours, no grains, no rice, no pasta, no dairy. The only dairy that was allowed was Greek yogurt. And let me tell you, I liked this yogurt before this cleanse anyways, thankfully. But I have found a Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, that only has 2 grams of sugar. I believe it's a 1/4 cup serving. The brand name is Blazewold, and it's made right here in Alberta, which is yay, local. Best yogurt I've ever had. Best. I was one of those people who would only eat, flavored yogurt that's got a ton of sugar in it, all of that kind of stuff. But this yogurt is absolutely outstanding. So I would have that in the morning before I even left for the office, and take it with the first set of candida supplements. Lunches usually consisted of something that I had meal prepped. I lived on a lot on beef and millet and eggs, and a lot of vegetables, lots of vegetables, and essentially no fruit. The only thing that I did allow myself to have as a snack in the morning was a green apple with almond butter, and again, a fantastic find. It's the brand name is Barney, and it's Barney Bear almond butter, and there's barely anything in it. It's simply almonds and palm fruit oil, and there is 1 gram of sugar for 2 tablespoons. It's absolutely amazing. There was also no fermented type foods like kombucha, things like that. That was not allowed for 30 days. I'm actually very proud of myself that I was able to make it through and survive that whole thing. The first week was difficult with the cravings, but it was also probably one of the easiest because I was very focused and excited and hopeful that this would work and get rid of the rash. There's a lot of meal prepping. I still have a freezer full of different foods that I had made. If you're going through the same thing, go to, I believe it's candidadiet.com. There's a ton of recipes on there that are actually pretty good, and most of them are fairly easy. Anybody who knows me knows that I don't like to cook per se, so these were, simple ingredients, easily done and finished. And for me, being, one person, I would get 4 to 6 servings out of a prep, and then I would have enough to get me through the week, actually longer. So the first week, as I said, it was difficult with respect to the sugar cravings, and how that was taken care of, or tried to be taken care of, was L-glutamine powder and L-tyrosine capsules. That really didn't work for me. The L-tyrosine did not work at all, which surprised my nutritionist. The L-glutamine, I'm actually still taking that. It came in a container of powder. I've probably got another week or so left to go through. That's supposed to be helping with the cravings. I'm an oddball, and it's really tough to break these sugar cravings for me. I was handling the cravings by chewing gum, and I think that actually made it worse. Little did I realize, but I could easily go through a pack of gum in a day, which probably wasn't the best thing to do. By week 2, the cravings were still there big time, but I was getting into a routine of the food and all of that kind of stuff. The itching was starting to go away, and the rash itself, any new episodes of rash, was very minimal. I still had, some red spots. In fact, I still do today. And those are from the very beginning. So those are probably 2 months old. Week 3, still kind of the same, maybe a little better. The itching was better. There were a couple of days that the itching did increase, and we weren't really sure why. The other thing that wasn't allowed, there was a lot of starchy type things that weren't allowed: potatoes, carrots, corn, that kind of thing. I had been having some carrots as vegetables until I read up on things and realized I wasn't supposed to be having those. So that could have been a cause. Then by the last week, I was starting to get irritated with the cravings were still very, very strong. And I was getting tired of food, period. I was kind of hungry. Actually, there were many days where I felt starving. And that probably could have been a result of, I had also started working out to keep my mind occupied, and so perhaps it was the workouts that were increasing the appetite. But I was also in the back of my mind wondering if the supplements for the Candida cleanse maybe was also, who knows what was going on behind the scenes with all of the things that I was taking. So anyways, I finished the cleanse. I was very nervous to go off the antihistamine because I was worried that it was really controlling the itching and the rash, and that, within a few days or so I'd be back to the way I was before. Then I had finished the L-tyrosine talked to my nutrition lady about it, the fact that the cravings were still strong even after 30 days. So then I was on, she gave me, it's a supplement called Sero Plus, so it's serotonin. So I'm on that right now. That seems to have helped a bit. The tough part is at the office, being the holiday season, there has been an influx of cookies and chocolates and candy coated nuts and all sorts of things, and that's been really tough to bypass and know that it's there, but I cannot expose myself to it. So this past week I have tried to be very diligent, but I have allowed myself to have a few things. I was good up until yesterday, actually, being Saturday, and I had carrots for lunch, and I also had a snack of, it was a bag of pretzels that was a sweet and salty mix, so it had some sort of caramel, not coating, but a flavoring in it, and that was a huge mistake. It was either a combination of the pretzels and the carrots, or one or the other, and I was crazy itchy yesterday. I ended up having to take an antihistamine. I still had a half of one of the prescription strength left, so I took that and did a baking soda mix paste and put that on my skin and scrubbed it in and then washed it off, and that brought me relief. But now I know better. No carrots, no pretzels. Those pretzel treats went immediately into the compost, so I was kind of proud of myself for doing that, because in the past I wouldn't have been able to throw them away. It would have been, I'd find some excuse, but knowing now that I can't do it, they immediately went into the compost. I have had a couple of caramel chocolates, which normally I actually bought 2 a week ago, and it took me an entire week to eat them both. So baby steps, but a big win for me, because in the past those would have been gone in 2 minutes and I wouldn't have been able to only buy just 2. So I'm proud of myself for that one. I have decided to go back to the Candida foods and try to stick to them as closely as possible, just to keep this at bay. And I've done a lot of research, and there's a lot of things that once you have overabundance of yeast in your gut, there are a lot of things that can trigger it and annoy it and make it worse. So something to be careful of. So listeners out there, if there's anybody else who has gone through this or is going through this, I would love some comments on, how you're dealing with it and what you've done to get rid of it. The other thing that I have introduced this week is kefir, and I've been adding it to my yogurt in the morning, which actually is quite tasty and very filling. Believe it or not, it actually hits the spot. Pardon me. What else can I tell you? It's baby steps. It's knowing now that I cannot overindulge in things, and that sugar is a very huge enemy for me, and also that there are certain things that I probably won't ever be able to have. Carrots being one, caramel pretzels being another. I also did a bit of Christmas baking today, and having flour and cornstarch and icing sugar touch my skin, wow, that was an experience. It was like fiery, hot, prickly heat. So that's another thing. And I made shortbread cookies, 96 shortbread cookies. I did not eat one. They all went in the deep freeze. So I was proud of myself on that as well. That was another big one for me. I've also learned over the last little while that skinny coffees aren't the best either. There's a lot of added sugar in skim milk, so I have been getting my coffee with 2% milk or whatever it is, and sometimes it'll be a breve, which is huge for me as well. But baby steps, I'm learning. And I hope to be able to continue with these podcasts on, sugar and the terrible effects and, an unhealthy gut, which is not pleasant at all. The interesting part of this whole Candida cleanse as well was at the beginning, I fully expected that I would drop some pounds right away because, my sugar and crap intake was huge. So, and by that I mean candies, cookies, cakes, potato chips, all that kind of stuff. And, cutting it out, I thought within the first week my scale would be like, whoop, but it did not, surprisingly. It wasn't until the third week that I finally dropped a whole whopping 1 pound. The one thing that I have noticed though is I did have more energy when I was eating a very specific way. And I also have been losing my sugar belly, which I'm happy to report on that as well. That's a big one. I've increased my cardio workouts significantly, and I hope to continue doing that. And I would welcome everybody to stay on this journey with me. So far, this has been the only thing that has worked for me with respect to being aware of this whole sugar issue and what it does to the body. My skin, I don't think, will ever be the same after this horrible rash. But again, if there's anybody out there that has any words of wisdom or advice or offerings or anything, that would be great. I'd love to hear from you. So thank you for listening. Again, it's just over a week and 2 days until Christmas. So I'll try to record another podcast at some point before or between Christmas and New Year's, give everybody an update. Hopefully I'll hear back from some listeners, and thanks so much for joining. I really appreciate all the followers and the comments that I get on my social media, so thank you very much, and I look forward to more comments to come. Wishing everybody the very best of the holiday season, and looking forward to 2019 being healthy and happy and in good fitness. So let's look forward to 2019. All the best, everybody. Thanks for listening.